G'day, I'm Paul Cooper, and I'm here today as a special tribute to a friend, a colleague and a mentor in Ken Hore. Unfortunately, Ken lost his battle with a cancer-related illness a little over 12 months ago. And coming up shortly is Run Melbourne, where lots of runners choose to raise money for a certain charity. And I've chosen this year to run in honour of Ken. Now, if you didn't know who Ken was, here's a sneak preview of a video that's currently in production on just how the Victorian tourism industry honoured and treasured this man.
Ken was a real legend in the tourism industry. He was such a passionate advocate for regional tourism, for Phillip Island in particular, for the Sydney-Melbourne touring route. In fact, anything he was passionate about, he brought such a sense of enthusiasm and purpose.
He was a master of the one-liner, and he had a great set of stories to tell and a humorous way, but at the end of the day, he was very much action-oriented. He delivered, and as I said, he had a vision for the industry and he prepared to put the time and energy to see that vision come to reality.
I have always in my life been drawn to passionate people, but people who are sincere and caring, and Ken just exuded all of those qualities. He was far and away, I think, one of the most committed and dedicated professionals that I've ever worked with in this industry, that had a love for tourism and a love for Victoria that was unparalleled.
He was always approachable, he was always one to support. He'd come to the regions, he'd work with you. Ken was a man that you could always find the good part of anything that you saw. And things were tight, Ken would always say, "Johnny, we'll work it through." Always work it through. Ken was a very special man. I think everyone knows that. I miss him a lot. I think about him nearly every day.
But on top of Ken's strong advocacy for tourism and what he believed in, I actually liked the guy, and you don't normally make a lot of friends in politics, but I really liked him, and I think I referred to him in Parliament when I did a short speech on him as a character, and he was a real character, and he had an engaging personality. He was warm, he was interesting. I remember I had lunch with him one time. He's just an amazing guy, and it made it so much easier to be the minister, to have an advocate for Country Victoria tourism who was just so pleasant and so personable to deal with.
He went out of his way to connect with you. Whether you were starting a new job or you were new to the industry, he always looked for people who needed a bit of support or assistance. And in my own case, I remember when I went to work in Ballarat, he rang me, and it was the first day I was heading up there, and he rang me at about Melton and said, "I just want to give you the lowdown on what's going down up there."
It's not a matter of just being a leader and delegating the functions, it's rolling up your sleeves, and Ken certainly did that and had a great reputation in the industry of that. But more to the point, he was professional, but he was still a decent man, and a great bloke to be around.
It's not often that people are actually recognised for their great contribution to a sector, and I really feel that the tourism industry on its Night of Nights did a very special thing, singling out Ken for that big award for his individual contribution, because it has been so significant.
Between both Ken Hore and Ken Turner, it was always, they used to love to just sit and watch the faces when I would open my mouth, because of course there was, probably some would say, still a very strong American accent, but it has softened over the years, and that was probably one of the highlights, was actually watching Ken make light of it. And it is, again, what was special about him, because it was never done in a way that was ever seen to be derogatory or in any way rude or to make people uncomfortable. It was actually always in a way to break the ice. And for me, it was great, because it really helped me to feel a lot more comfortable as I tried to get used to life in a new land.
Ken and I went to dinner at the local hotel in Violettown, of all places. 8 o'clock on a Monday night, the guy said, "I'm sorry, but the kitchen's closed." Ken said, "Think you better open it up. John and I need a steak and a glass of red." He said, "Well, you better buy a bottle of red." So we did that. Ken was a man that you could always find the good part of anything that you saw.
And I know there's a famous story about when I went up in a cherry picker. I think it was when we were putting up the jigsaw signs on the border of Victoria and New South Wales. So I went up in the cherry picker to launch this huge signage strategy, and I heard a lot of laughter from down below. And in those days I was young and I wore short skirts and all of that, and Ken said, now we'll see if the minister's well briefed. And I knew about that because I had come down from the cherry picker and had asked about what was the comment that had elicited such laughter. And of course, again, everyone's so terribly respectful of ministers, which is good. And it was quite an effort to find out what the joke was. And I thought it was the funniest thing of all time. It's a very funny joke. I think he was actually embarrassed just for a smidgen of time initially, that it was a very funny comment. And I think it's good that people can laugh in those circumstances. I actually valued the fact that I had such a relationship with him that he could say that, and for people not to get offended and actually laugh.
Ken, the family man, yes, he was always there for the kids too. No matter what, it was never too much trouble to just drop everything and do whatever the kids needed to have done. And for me too, he was the same. He was a very generous, soft-hearted fellow, and I often thought many people took advantage of him because he was, he was a bit of a softie.
So there you have it. That's the tribute currently in production for Ken Hore. Now, if you'd like to contribute to my run in honour of Ken and raise money for stem cell research as per the Hore family's wishes, this is how you do it. You can simply get onto Google and Google For a Cure. This is the organisation that's raising money for stem cell research. Once you get to the For a Cure website, you can get more information on the organisation, and if you scroll down from the homepage, you'll find the link to my run for Ken Hore. If you click on this button here, this will take you straight through to another site called Eventbrite, which is where you can make the actual donation. You simply put in here the amount that you'd like to donate, and from there, fill out the rest of the information, and on the following page, you can choose to either pay via credit card or with a PayPal account. So it doesn't matter how much you can donate, whether it's $5, $10, $50 or $100. If you're in the Victorian tourism industry or local government and you knew Ken Hore, please make some sort of a contribution towards this very important campaign in honour of such a great man. I have a target of $10,000 that I'd love to raise for this organisation. And on behalf of the Hore family, I sincerely thank you.